Oh. Hello, welcome to the Film Vomit Podcast, extension of the Vomit series of podcasts. As always, I'm your host, Mac Taylor, and with me today is...
It's Cole Selby again today.
And we're in video format now. You can see
us.
us.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I feel like I've never actually seen you before because we've never actually had any sort of video.
Right.
You look great.
We've never seen what each other looks like ever.
Nope,
ever. But no, I'm glad to be doing this in video format. This will be the thing we're doing from here on in. I don't have to commute back and forth to Cole's house all the time. We can just, wake up, watch the movie, and fucking slap this on here and not have to do all the extra prep.
Mm-hmm.
And it just looks better. It's nicer to have because, especially with movies like we watched today, where it's like shit we fucking don't like, you get a little more animated and you can see kind of more so our reaction to it instead of just hearing us kind of go through it.
Yeah.
So the movie we watched, as we continue down the road to Gingerdead Man versus the Evil Barn, we stopped at Gingerdead Man 3, Roller Boogeyman, or Saturday Night Cleaver. All these movies have two fucking titles, which make no sense. So we start out in this, like, the first fucking frame of this movie. So the first, like, non-logo part of this movie is the scientific study of homicidal baked goods.
Yeah. That's an extremely specific research area to have
out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, and it's great. It's
obviously they're going for the Silence of the Lambs parody here. Like they're really fucking going for it.
Yeah.
But as soon as that popped up, as soon as that was the first fucking thing, I was like, shit, here we go. Like
it was. You already know what you're getting into with this movie.
Exactly, which is nice to know. Like, from the first second, they're like, this is dumb. So you can kind of prepare for it, which also it's Gingerdead Man 3. If you don't know what you're in for by now, there's probably a problem. But like the first movie tried to be something more serious and ended up being worse for it. The second movie went in and out of like spoof, but like still had like some menacing tones to it. This one just goes all out comedy. Like there's not one point in this movie where they really like tried to do something slightly in the realm of horror. Like it's all fucking terrible.
It's pretty bad. I do have a question for you. Do you want to get sticky with the cream puff, Ben? Do you want to get sticky?
As soon as they were doing the Silence of the Lambs thing, I knew that joke was coming. But literally. But man. Okay, so we meet Clarissa Darling.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And she takes the scarf off and also like all these piercings. Like she takes off like nipple piercings and a vag screw. Like it's a fucking like molten washer. I was like, Jesus, where was that? You know what I mean? Like, it's a thick fucking thing. And the thing about the cop that cracked me up every time though is that she's always eating this burger. Yeah. Every scene of the movie she's in, she's like munching down on this burger. And I don't know if it's the same burger or like multiple, like the whole movie. Every scene always is eating a burger. And I don't know if that was scripted or if this particular actor was like, listen, I did not get a long enough lunch. So this is what we're doing. And you're paying me hardly anything. So I'm gonna eat the whole time.
Yeah.
Right? Just deal with it. It's in the shot. It's there.
Yeah.
So we see all sorts of different homicidal baked goods. We see the cream puff that ejaculates on Clarice Darling. We see
great. It's like that's a great starter right there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know where you're at. You know what you're doing.
Yeah.
We get a baguette, a pie who's like a prostitute.
Is that really homicidal maniac flirty?
I don't know. Maybe it was like homicidal and also whorish baked goods. Maybe that was they couldn't fit it all in the name. You know, it's a long license to spell out. And then there's also a hash brownie, like a plate of hash brownies with a face.
That's great.
Very quality puppeteering, man. Let me tell you. Mm-hmm. And so they got the Gingerdead man and like the Hannibal Lecter mask. Although like Hannibal Lecter wasn't tied up in his own cell. Like that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But also it's a killer cookie. I know I shouldn't be picking it apart that much, but
yeah.
And he's even doing the accent. And he actually the puppet in this scene looks so much better than the puppet in the rest of the movie.
Yeah. Definitely. Well, when they're not using fucking CGI for the damn gingerbread
the CGI is shit.
It's so bad.
Like, and listen, you know, I get it. This is a low budget movie, but like the other movies we've watched have used practical blood effects.
Yeah.
And while it's not like, you know, over the top, a lot of blood, it's still, it's goofy, but like, you know, whatever. Like I appreciate that someone made that and like made it work and it was a thing, you know what I mean? Like I can appreciate that as a low budget filmmaker, but there's something about using CGI blood or CGI that just doesn't belong with the rest of the movie that takes away from the movie. So this movie already didn't have a lot of points to begin with, but it lost most of those because the death scenes and the Gingerdead man running, complete fucking shit. And I understand they wanted to try to do more than they did in the last two movies, but at what cost? You know what I mean? They should have just kept it limited. Like it's a killer fucking cookie. I don't need to see it run. So he's in the full Hannibal Lecter garb, and she's talking about if he helps her solve this murder, he'll go to like Candy Island and walk on the brown sugar beaches and swim in the lemonade water. And I was like, what? All this just to fucking mention Candyland?
Yeah.
And then at the same fucking time, for some reason, makes no sense, PETA shows up.
PETA for baked goods.
and they go to the homicidal baked goods place and think that they're animals for some reason, which makes zero sense other than to be like them make a joke on PETA. But that's a stretch. I mean, it's a hard stretch to make that joke.
Yeah.
Because they think the Gingerdead man is a capuchin monkey. It's clearly a cookie. Like there's no mistaking that. And like there's a fucking plate of hash brownies in the next cell. You're gonna tell me you thought that was an animal?
There's a fully animated cream puff.
Yeah, that is ejaculating on people.
Yeah, and you're just like, oh, that's a squirrel right there that they're testing on, right? They gotta let him free.
God, it's so fucking stupid. And so they let the Gingerdead man loose and he bites the chick's nose off.
Yeah, which is great.
And then I guess Clarissa Darling is the sister of the homeless guy played by Adam Green in the second movie that he took his body over. And again, very like they tried to make continuity to the second one, but it was only like 5 seconds. And this character does not show up until the very end of the film. So there's no real story there other than to be like, we'll throw in a reference.
Yeah.
So she goes to shoot him. That doesn't work. He runs off, kills a couple of scientists who were working on a time machine in this homicidal baked goods institute.
Yeah. They obviously had a lot more credentials, but they settled on homicidal baked goods.
Like, this whole experimental wing, but like, So he gets in his time machine, and we get the same opening theme song that was in the second movie, while he's doing like the in time thing. And then also, this is where we see the actual puppet they're going to use in the movie / the actual voice they're going to use in the movie.
Yeah.
And he's got such a derpy fucking face.
Yeah.
And his voice is like a hick instead of like the sinister kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like we went from Gary Busey to like Alan Jackson. I don't know how the hell that happened.
I think the voice is William Butler
It's the guy. I
for
believe
this
it's the
movie.
guy who wrote it. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so too.
But still, like,
It's,
you couldn't have got the guy from the second movie. Like, he didn't sound too bad. I know you can't get Gary Busey again, but
yeah,
you couldn't have got the guy. The guy from the second movie was fine.
yeah. Like I liked him. I liked his voice.
This voice is annoying.
Yeah.
And again,
Yeah.
the puppet just looks terrible. Like, he looks like he's real fat, and he like looks all surprised the whole time. Like,
yeah.
really hard to be. I mean, again, it's hard to be a menacing killer cookie anyway.
Yeah.
But this, they really outdid themselves on the shit meter here.
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
So see, we move into
Yeah, we get transported to 1976.
yes, the very specific
Yeah.
year. And also it's clearly just like a roller rink that they found that they could film at.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be in 76, but at one point you can actually see a Simpsons arcade machine, which I believe didn't come around to like the late 80s.
Yeah.
Early 90s maybe. So like that it's like this is the 70s. Just don't pay too much attention to the things around you. It's the 70s.
Yeah. Simpsons didn't come out December 17th, 1989. Like they're
Boom.
way off.
Yeah, way off. Over a decade off. But that's them probably being like, shit, we can't move the Simpsons arcade machine, so we're just gonna, hopefully no one pays attention, and people did. So he's in this roller disco, and just like he did this in the second movie too. He just like yells randomly.
Yeah.
He's like, oh no, fuck this, blah blah blah. But it's like, what's the point of it? Like, it's like it'll like cut to the disco, and then cut to him cursing, and then cut back to the disco. But he does nothing in that little time. He's just sitting in like a corner.
I'm
why?
Yeah, I'm thinking it's just like their attempt at comedy, and they think that's what the funny portion of this movie is him cursing, when it's really just him, like the Gingerdead Man, just being a fucking idiot that makes me laugh.
And it's the third movie. The concept of a cookie cursing has far, exceeded its use. but we're here. We're still doing it.
Mm-hmm.
We also see the cokehead DJ, which is going to be a recurring like cutaway, like in these scenes.
That's a way you could tell it's 70s that people's doing cocaine. There you go.
Yeah, like people still don't do cocaine. Well, that's true. She's got it like on her mixer board.
Yeah.
And then we meet. I did not take down the little kid's name. I know the boy's name is Pickles because
it's their names are Pickles and Tina.
Okay, so Tina and Pickles they're dedicated novice skaters. Well, I guess Pickles isn't, but he's just there. Like, she's not nice to him, and I don't understand why he hangs around, but he does. And she's like, she wants to be a professional roller disco queen, which is, she's arrived late to the party because that's not going to be a thing in a few years.
Yeah.
And we meet I did not take down their names. I just wrote down Roller Bitch and Roller Douche for the guy and the girl.
I think Tammy and like Idonis, I think his name. I don't remember the dude's name. I think the chick's name's Tammy.
I'm gonna stick with Roller Bitch and Roller Douche. I think
Roller Bitch and Roller Douche.
So
that's what they are.
She's like a 4-year running that specific roller disco queen, which is a very small pond to want to stay in.
Yeah.
But each their own. And all he wants to do is bone.
Queen.
Yeah.
And also, I can't tell, because I know with this part of the movie, it's almost like they're making two movies at the same time. We have the Gingerdead Man movie happening, and we have this weird teen spoof. Like, they're spoofing like teen comedies from like the 80s, where like, the roller rink's gonna shut down, and the kids gotta save the day, and we got a new girl in town, and the old bitch is mad because she's getting the attention, and there's a forced romance. So it's like they're spoofing one of those movies, but also the Gingerdead Man comes in. So it's like the Gingerdead Man stuff really takes away from this other thing they're doing. Almost like someone pitched Charles Band an idea of like, hey, kind of like Wet Hot American Summer, where they're like, hey, let's just make a worse spoof of like, you know, the fucking teen gotta save the youth center movies. And he's like, can we put a killer cookie in it? And they're like, I guess we could. And he's like, sold. We're making the movie. So, but they don't go together. Like it feels very contrived.
Yeah. Which what do they mean by like back taxes? And that's why the rink's shutting down?
Well, later it's referenced that Trixie had gambled away like a lot of the money that was supposed to be used to pay like the rent and the taxes and stuff. But again, that's a lot of like pertinent detail. But again, I don't think they expected you to really care about saving the roller derby. But I cared about that more than most of the rest of the movie. But so we meet. I'm gonna edit this out. I lost my place. Oh, there's a part where the roller bitch rolls by and the Gingerdead Man just yells "cunt."
Yeah,
that made me laugh.
That was good. That was good.
And then we meet Trixie, who is the owner of the roller derby, and her niece Cherry, who is a ripoff of Carrie, but she's named Cherry because she's also the typical proto-virgin character.
Yeah.
So like that was kind of a joke. Like the Carrie thing felt very forced because it really only comes up like 3 times in the whole movie. Like here, the roller bitch calls her a nerd, and she like, you know, blows out a light or something, and like that's like one of the only times we really get the mention of her powers. And Trixie is the owner, like I said, owner of the roller derby. She's like real protective of her niece, and also I didn't know this until after watching the movie, but Trixie is played by a guy who is like a professional drag actress. So like he professionally plays women, which is interesting. I didn't know that was a thing. And the kids are like, well, let's just have a bake sale. And she's like, yeah, like a bake sale is going to get us $85,000. Like, how about a car wash? You're like, just no, we're not saving the youth center. Which
going against the plot here.
Trixie is my favorite character in this whole movie, though. Like the overacting, like it felt on purpose. Whereas a lot of these people felt like just really bad actors or actresses. She genuinely felt like she was just having fun with the role, which I appreciate, because like if I was in one of these movies, I would just, you know, just ham it up and just have a good time. So I enjoyed that character a lot because it just went for the ridiculousness, but it worked. Whereas some of this movie doesn't work because of it. So then we meet Miss Harshman, who is kind of like the bitter authority figure we see in a lot of these teen movies. You know, the person wants to kill all the fun the teens are having in the youth center. I can't, for some reason, when I talk about those movies, I can't stop doing this motion. Like I can't be super sarcastic about it.
Yeah.
It's a forced thing. I can't help it. And also every time that there's not like a specific like disco song playing, like if they're just like having a scene, the background has the same like do 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 like music in the background every single time. Like it never changes, and it got on my fucking nerves.
Yeah.
It's like they'd be like rolling to a song, and I'm like, okay, like whatever, right? I can deal with this. Then they'd go back to talk, and it's like the do 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 undertone. I'm like, god damn it, cut that shit out. Very annoying. So, and the Gingerdead Man is stuck now in the 70s. He's very pissed about it, but he just leaves the remote instead of trying to fix it. And he's like, I'm just gonna go and kill people in this time period. And I'm like, wait a minute, like you're not gonna take it with you, like. And And I know they can't. He's so small, he can't carry this huge ass remote around with him all the time. But still, like, why would you leave your only means of leaving behind?
Yeah, for real.
I guess he's just trying to just settle what he has. Like, I'll just kill them.
True, and I mean, again, they just needed it to not to. They needed it to be on the ground for what happens later to happen, but as a story flow wise, it wouldn't make a lot of sense for it. But again, I'm nitpicking this stupid cookie movie.
Yeah.
So then the three actresses they paid to be super slutty go to do a car wash for charity, and there's a lot of sexual references here, innuendos here, and the Gingerdead man gets real excited about that. So he leaves the remote and goes off with these car wash chicks. And then
I don't like what he does at all.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that in the statistics of that.
Yeah.
And then we meet Peaches and Tux. I guess he's named Tux because he's wearing one of those tuxedo shirts. Very very creative naming.
Yeah.
Very.
And he has what's called magical trail mix, which in one bag is Quaaludes, shrooms, acid, ecstasy, cocaine, and bennies. Why would you have all that touching it? Like, why would you want to reach in a bag and touch all this random shit with your hands and then throw something random in your mouth? That you're just asking to die of an overdose. Like, I don't think they would have made it long enough to get killed by the Gingerdead man. They would have overdosed right there in the fucking rink.
Yeah. Like on the way to go see their soon to be third member, they would have just dropped on the floor.
They should have died. Same thing with the DJ. With the amount of cocaine she did, she should also be dead.
Yeah.
So Trixie refuses to let Cherry disco with Randy. When he's like, come on, I'll just take you out the floor and roll around. And she's like, no, you're not allowed to roller disco. You kids have a good time. And it's like
her name's Cherry. Her name's Cherry. I'd like her to stay that way.
Yeah, that was a fun line.
This is fucking cool.
But again, I like how the Trixie character, like how she portrays it, how she's like, this like puts on this nice facade and then like snaps it and then reels it back in. Fun stuff.
Yeah.
So then like, and I don't know why this bugged me, but like after this, it's always, it's like, oh, let's go on the floor of disco. It'll be fun. And she's like, oh no, Randy, we shouldn't. And I'm like, it's just disco. Like, it's not fucking some great. And again, like I know sometimes, you know, those things, like it's like in Footloose, how, you know, dancing is like the forbidden thing, but like it's not like this town is forbidden roller disco. And I know it's because her aunt do it, but it's like they play it up like it's like, oh, this crazy thing, and like they don't even do anything. Really
they're just going around in circles. It's like it's not even hardcore. Yeah, like
they couldn't have hired a chick who could actually
around.
So dumb. Like I got actually mad at that, and we'll bring it up later when they talk about how good she is. And I'm like, go fuck yourself. You don't know that.
You're a natural, man.
It's like fucking rolling forward. And she also does. Cherry is the only person that sees the Gingerdead man running around, but she doesn't know it's a cookie. Like, she just sees something run by. It's like, what is that thing?
She's the only one that can see it.
Yep.
Like that sees it.
Everyone else, I think, is on drugs.
Yeah.
That's probably part of it. And then the Gingerdead man sees the chicks at the car wash and immediately starts jacking off. So that is the fourth out of 5 movies we watched that had the Gingerdead man jerking off. And only because in Evil Bong 2, he wasn't in that movie. So statistically, that's not great.
Yeah, there's jacking off. Him specifically jacking off in every movie he's in, and I don't like seeing it. Jesus, it happens all the. Is that his gag? Because I'd rather it not be his gag.
Right, because I guess the first time for like shock value, it could have been kind of funny, I guess. But it's like now it's like a thing. Like they're like in every movie, he's got to just jerk off aggressively. Like for like a
Like,
long amount of time.
extremely aggressively too. Like he's just fucking go.
And we already had an ejaculation joke with the cream puff.
Yeah.
So we've had 2 ejaculate. Actually, we'll have another. The trio doesn't quite make it to ejaculation. But,
No.
we get a lot of just kind of gross out humor. So the girl in pickles, they're arguing over skating and fame, and then they find said time travel remote and disappear until the finale of the movie.
Yep, they're just gone.
Lucky them.
Yep. I want to see that movie.
Them going around.
I want to see
time.
the adventures of fucking.
Well, also, couldn't
Pickles
this
and
movie
Tina.
have just been the Gingerdead Man going through time? Did it just have to be specifically the 70s?
It probably would have been more.
They didn't have the money for it. Like,
entertaining.
they probably pitched it.
Yeah.
Like, we should have a time
Yeah.
traveling Gingerdead Man. And they're like, we can only get this roller rink. That's all we can get. How about 1976? But fuck it. It'll work. We can't move this Simpsons machine, though. So make sure you don't get it in shot.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
I bet this is just like somewhere in the town they're located has this like random roller rink. It's like, I'd be
Mhm.
curious to see if it's still open.
After this movie.
This is
God.
the roller rink that Gingerdead Man 3 was shot in.
It's like, oh, well, now I actually don't want to be here.
So this makes it worse. This has defecated the building. So then while he finishes jerking off and the girls are doing the whole like spraying, like they're washing one car.
Yeah.
And just spraying each other the whole time. And for some reason, there is a tank of hydrochloric acid right by the building with an attachment for a hose.
Why would you ever need that?
You're right.
Why was that made?
Why was it put by a roller rink? What roller rink needs hydrochloric acid?
And that much of it.
A
Like
fucking tank, like a drum of hydrochloric acid. Like, what is happening at this roller disco?
it's for those stuck on stains, man, for the cars.
So he's like, hydrochloric acid, okay. Which is my favorite line from this movie, just because it's so dumb how he says it.
Yeah.
Then we
And,
cut
and,
to
the melting effects were fine.
yeah, and like they
for the
cut
girls.
in and out of it, but we'll just go ahead and talk about it now. So the one chick sprays the other 2 chicks and they start melting. And then she sprays herself in the face because I guess the joke is that she's so stupid. She sprayed herself in the face. But it's kind of like that. We decided to kill her because you can't have her running back in and be like, they're dead. Yeah, some of the melting was practical, like the face thing.
Yeah.
Like it was kind of there. But then they would do like this CG like blood spurting. And I'm like, you didn't need to do that.
No. It just doesn't look good.
No,
when
it looks fucking super cheap and just lame. Like it doesn't go.
Yeah.
And again, and if you can't make it work practically, maybe you just shouldn't put it in the movie.
Yeah.
Like you could have had
Yeah.
like you could have just cut back and forth like the chick's face and like the chick reacting and then do a little more makeup, then the chick reacting and a little more makeup. You didn't need to try to show the whole sequence. You know, you could have made it work. They could have made it work.
Yeah.
We're sitting here for
they
like
could've.
5 minutes and we've already like tweaked it better than the actual filmmakers. So, and they only raised $2 by washing Trixie's car, by the way, too. That was a line that was kind of funny.
That's great.
So Randy gets Cherry to basically just slowly go around the rink, and he's like, "Oh, you're so good." And I'm like, "Again, I guess you're not falling down, which is,
Yeah.
you know, you're a good beginner. You're a novice. Like,
I guess but in 1976, everyone was just super bad at roller skating. And
everyone was so
does
fucked up on drugs that the minimalistic movements, like, that is amazing.
The ceiling's pretty low.
Right. If only we
The
could have
ceiling.
if only we could have existed in the 70s, Cole. We'd be fucking
I'd be a roller skating like champion right now
exactly.
because I can't fall down
Be Olympian.
and I don't do like copious amounts of drugs.
We're not doing trail mix bags of drugs.
Oh.
So yeah, they're going in circles. So stupid. But like everyone is. No one's really doing anything impressive. Like even the roller bitch that they have the fucking matching costumes and are supposed to be, future Olympians.
Yeah.
What are they doing? They're just kind of doing this thing.
And this is like supposed to be like a roller disco beauty pageant. Who are the judges? What's the judging based on?
Well,
And
everyone that's there gets a vote, so you just go vote. So it's essentially just a bunch of like thirsty dudes. Being like, that one. I want that one.
Yeah, fucking crazing over Cherry.
Exactly.
And I'm sorry, but she's like, why is she like supposed like played to
she's
be
the new
just
girl
a
in
super
town. She's mysterious. That's how these movies work, Cole.
like,
No matter who's the top dog, you have any random girl come into town. And everyone's like, who's that girl?
Yeah.
And she rolls around the rink a couple of times, and now she's a superstar. That's how these movies work.
It's like, I'm sorry, but she's just like dreadfully average. Like, really. And it's
yeah.
Sorry.
She just rolled around the rink a couple of times, and everyone's like, wow. And that's all it takes. That's all it takes. I was impressed by how impressed they were. And the roller bitch is already like, I'm gonna sabotage her. And I'm like, she just rolled around a couple times. Just do a flip or something. These people will lose their goddamn minds.
That's what we call. That's what we call daddy issues, because she's just trying to cling on to the one thing that gives her happiness, man. And
I am this random roller derby disco
pageant.
queen. It means everything. It's so
only before that new girl, only I was the one who could go around in circles.
Exactly. Everyone else is fell on their ass because they were so fucked up on drugs. So Cherry then meets Coco and Yoko, who are just two throwaway characters. Who
I'm defined by my race.
Pretty much, yeah.
101.
Super terrible naming they did there.
Yeah.
Also, they only exist for really like to do one scene, and then they're just kind of there for a while.
Yeah.
They're coming to be her friends. Like, wow, you were so good out there. We want to hang out with you now. And I'm like, but why?
For real. And like doing all the whole dress up thing. And
and then there's like this forced love story between Randy and Cherry, even though they literally just met each other.
Yeah.
And they have no reason to fall for each other other than they went in a circle.
Yeah. Like, I can understand like Cherry like swooning over a dude because she probably never has any.
She's been locked in a room for fucking 17 years.
But she would probably act like that way to like any guy that showed her any sort of attention.
Yeah, like that dude who was just so happened to be earlier. Could have been him.
Yeah, it just so happened to be Randy.
Just so happened to be Randy, the fucking rental guy.
Yeah.
Who, for the rest of the movie, does not do his job.
Yeah.
He was working at the skate rental and then just follows Cherry around for the rest of the movie. I'm like, who is renting the shoes now?
And the whole place is still, up and going. It's still business. People are still there spending money. Like, where's he at? Who's manning his station? Has anyone stolen from the register
Trixie's
yet?
Up in the fucking skybox that exists. And the shoe guy's just smelling shit. I'm like, who is running this operation?
I can see why they had a money problem.
Yeah. Everyone's just grabbing skates without paying because the guy's not up there doing his fucking job. He's over here trying to bone.
God.
Oh man, so stupid. So Tux and Peaches, they're tripping out and they go to bone like in the roller disco, and they're like, oh no, there's a monster coming. We need to go to the safety cave. And then they go to a janitor closet to bone. And then Miss Harshman goes to the bathroom, and the Gingerdead man sticks his dick through a glory hole.
Yeah.
And she rips it off and eats it.
Yeah, you didn't have to eat it.
You didn't
have to eat it.
Like, why are you she assumed, I'm assuming, it was the guy's dick, and she went to nibble on it. And wasn't at all phased that it was made of bread. This fucking
and
movie.
Also, what is the gingerbread man? Did he get aroused with his dick being ripped off? Because that's what it sounded like to me with his scream.
It is hard to tell.
Yeah.
William Butler's not an actor.
But she didn't have to eat it.
Yeah, it was pretty terrible. So they're like slow. Randy and Cher is slow dancing, and Trixie's like spying with like binoculars to this little like skybox. Which do those? I don't know much about like roller rinks, but that probably isn't a thing, right?
I don't think that's an actual thing.
Someone's
It
gonna
shouldn't
look
be.
out over the fucking roller disco thing. I mean, I guess if you're a manager, I guess that's a way to watch your floor, but it's a little creepy.
Yeah.
So she interrupts their slow dance and was like, Jerry, can you come to the front office, please? Because I see everything you all are doing out there. Okay, that's a bit much.
Yeah.
And then we cut to the Gingerdead man who was in the toilet when Harshman was taking a shit. But I'm like, he was just in the wall. And how did he get in the toilet and why? Other than to be like, oh, it came out of the toilet. Ain't that funny?
I think that was the.
Comedy.
I think that's the whole reason. That's the whole reason.
Comedy. We did it. Fucking nailed it. So Tux and Peaches go to bone in this janitor's closet, and the Gingerdead man is watching. Even though he has no dick, he's still aroused.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make any sense again. And we never saw it like he had a dick before. It was a huge like baguette came out of the wall.
Yeah. Yeah, that was. Maybe he just keep growing dicks.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, he regenerates a lot of things, you know, because he gets ripped apart in about every movie. So, and then a drunk Trixie who's like, I'm assuming it's Jack Daniels. We didn't see the bottle because you know they didn't have the fucking sponsor, but
yeah,
I'm assuming it looked like a Jack Daniels bottle. And she's like aggressively chugging Jack Daniels, like she clearly has a problem.
Yeah.
And she berates Cherry for trying to skate. She's like, she's like, you're supposed to be a dentist, not a skater. Because like earlier, she had a couple of like one-liners for being a dentist instead of a skater. I think one was drills, not thrills, but I don't remember what the hell the other two were. But they weren't bad. Like I said, the Trixie stuff works for me. Yeah. Meanwhile, while boning in the janitor's closet, Peaches and Tux, like the janitor walks in, who's like this gross old dude. And because they're so fucked up on a mixture of things, they think he's this like attractive, shirtless dude who kind of looked like the guy from Gingerdead Man 2 that got forced into boning the old chick. Kind of looked like him. And so they get caught up in this three-way. This disgusting three-way. And the Gingerdead man watches this too because he's got to take his sweet ass time. And then he interrupts it because the girl keeps saying, hammer me. And he's like, oh, okay. And he fucking shoots a nail gun at them. And also CG is used here, which is not super necessary.
Yeah. Like I feel like saying hammer me. So I think it'd be funny just throw a hammer at her. I thought that's what I was thinking. No, you take a nail gun. For some reason that's automatic and can just fire.
Yeah, there's like 1,000 rounds of nails.
Yeah, and it just peppers them. And yeah, they were using CGI again, and that doesn't really look very nice.
Because they put fake nails in the bodies. Just do that. Have a little bit of blood drain. It's not going to be this super big spectacle. Like show him shooting the gun with the effects, and then cut back around and see the after. You don't need to keep.
Yeah.
There was too many cuts in this movie too. It's like cut to this, cut to this, cut to this, cut to this, cut to this. I'm like, who fucking edited this movie?
Jeez.
It's like do the whole scenes. Don't be like, and we go to the closet, and we go to them in the office, and we go to the roller derby, and we go to the cocaine, and we go back to the three-way, and we go back to the office. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, I can't keep up. Like my notes are all over the fucking place because the movie's all over the fucking place.
Yeah, I have like fucking little ad libs, fucking arrows pointing into shit. Like it's
because it just,
they had too much shit going on.
Yeah, well, it's like let the janitor closet scene play out. Then after they're dead, then cut to the office with Trixie and Cherry. Then cut back to the roller disco. Don't be like start a sentence and like, oh, we gotta go back. Like I don't understand what the fuck I was about. Because the other two movies, as shitty as they were, didn't have that problem. They actually like let scenes play out a little bit. The Gingerdead man let it play out a little too much. It's like they over adjusted. for the failures of the first film. So
Yeah.
So they're dead, and then we go back to the office where like I said, they're arguing over. She's like,
Yeah.
I love skating, even though she literally just did it like 5 minutes ago. And she's like,
she has that natural talent, man.
you're talking to someone whose pelvis is held together with a screw and duct tape. Because she was just skating. Like, her delivery is fucking great. It really is. Then she tells the story of how skating destroyed her pelvis. As she took up in the 40s, which was roller skating a thing in the 40s. This is not a subject I'm very versed in.
Fuck, yeah, it was definitely a thing in the back then. I mean, roller skates were introduced in 1760.
God damn.
So I feel like people would have been roller
Roller
skating. Yeah, I feel like people would have been roller skating back then. Just
Okay.
Weird, like just a.
They got that right. They did a little bit of research. So in the 40s, Trixie began roller blading or roller skating, and had become a barrel jumper, which they let her perform for like USO shows. And during one of said USO shows, Pearl Harbor happens.
Yeah. This is what I this was something I never would have actually saw coming ever.
No, it caught me off guard so much.
If I wouldn't have been roller skating that day, they would have been netting their stations, and Pearl Harbor would have never happened.
You see what happens when you're just skating, Cherry? Pearl Harbor happens. Which is like, okay, it's not like every time someone roller skates, Pearl Harbor happens. Like, come on now, that was a fluke.
That's such an extreme specific example of what happened.
Like, it'd be different if like she got injured and she was like, that could happen to you too. But no, it's like, if you decide to become a barrel jumper at a USO show, Pearl Harbor can happen again.
We're gonna get Pearl Harbor Part 2.
All because of roller skating.
Only because.
Which also, if she had that happen to her, why did she open up a roller disco? That just sounds like the worst thing you would do if you were a failed starlet.
She seems like she's traumatized by it. So,
but she's constantly surrounded by it.
Yeah.
Constant reminders of Pearl Harbor everywhere. May we never forget. And she's like, but it's my calling. And I'm like, again, you went in a circle 5 fucking minutes ago, and now your whole life is going to be dedicated to this?
Yeah. Like, it would, like, I think it would have been better if they just gave her a little bit of backstory of roller skating already. Yes. Like, she was already like doing it behind her back.
Yeah. And
not just a straight beginner.
Have her maybe like go on one leg and like go around, do a loop-de-loop.
Yeah.
Something.
And you don't even have to show like her face. You can have like a stunt person do the crazy crap.
Yeah, that's too much money. Find someone in the extras who can do it and just superimpose her face on their face.
I mean, there's already some like pretty decent roller skaters like in the movie. When you see in the background, they're not like, some of them aren't horrible.
Yeah, especially
like,
the dude in like the green plaid tux.
Yeah.
He's not bad.
Yeah, like
fucking put her face on his body and make a joke out of it. Like,
yeah.
Do that.
Like, come on.
But again, we're putting more effort into it than they did. So that's part of it.
Yeah, definitely.
So, Cherry, Roller Bitch, and the 2 extras have been nominated for Roller Boogie Queen of 1976, the final Roller Boogie Queen of the 70s.
Yeah.
And Cherry also finds a bloody box, and the Gingerdead man pops up and then just leaves, doesn't do anything. Other than to be like, haha, you're crazy. No one will believe you.
Mm-hmm.
And when the Roller Bitch is nominated for her thing, she gives like an acceptance speech. And everyone's like, this is why no one voted for you. You're way too into this. This is like I don't know where this takes place, like what state or whatever. But still, this roller disco is not famous. So, like, don't act like this is
Yeah.
a big break. Like, it's fine. Maybe if you did more than circles, you'd be voted.
Yeah.
So Cherry goes to tell Randy about the cookie, and of course he doesn't believe her because he's like, sometimes when this shit would happen and they'd be like, oh, I don't think it could be a killer cookie, but like, but you saw it. Like, he would be skeptical. He didn't see it. So this actually makes sense. So they corrected that just fine. It was one of the only scenes in the movie that actually made a lot of sense. Then the roller douche finds out Cherry is going to win by a landslide. So the roller bitch wants to dump pig's blood on her because Carrie reference. Because even though we haven't referenced it but twice, you got to do it again.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the creepy shoe guy is murdered in the bathroom, like Hostel style. He gets like his tendons cut.
Yeah.
For like a very long time. Like, it's like a couple minute scene of him just on the ground going, and the fucking bad special effects on his ankles, just gushing blood, and there's blood on the stupid puppet.
Yeah. The Gingerdead man, then he swaps the cocaine, the DJ's cocaine,
with salt.
for a cleaning product.
Oh, is it a cleaning product?
I think
it's hard to tell because sometimes Ajax kind of looks like table salt, like with the container.
It's something that's not cocaine. That's
either way. You snort salt. That's not good either. Either way, she fucking dies. He also does some of her actual cocaine before mixing it up because you got to throw that joke in there.
Yeah.
And then Cherry's like, the roller bitch is sucking up to Cherry to kind of swerve her for the blood to kind of like, come out of left field with it. And then Cherry, for literally fucking zero reason, no sense, she goes, oh, I'm a freak, Randy, you shouldn't love me. And I'm like, where did this come from? Like, what is this? This makes no sense. Why are you acting this way? I got so mad.
Who can tell with her, man? You can tell.
And he's like, no,
with her character.
He's like, no, you're a natural. And I'm like, at what? Rolling forward? And then Trixie comes in and she's like, you have a gift. And I'm like, again, of what? What has she done? Yeah. That is so impressive that she needs to drop all of her other aspirations and follow this one fucking thing. What has she accomplished? Because in a scene we didn't talk about because it has no other pertinence to the story, she's on the dance floor and everyone else is rolling around her and she's not moving. She's just there. So in the two scenes she's roller skated in, she went in a circle and she stood in the middle of the fucking rink while everyone else went in a circle. That is not a gift. That is just doing the bare minimum of existing.
For real. It's, I mean, maybe maybe she's referencing her telekinesis gift thing.
No,
which doesn't really
she's trying to say she's a good skater. Don't you give her credit. Don't you give this script credit, Cole. Done.
Gotta give benefit of the doubt, man. Oh, God. You're skating so good.
So Trixie apologizes out of nowhere, tells her to follow this dream that she has no business following.
She just got this dream.
Yeah, just happened. This has been a one-night thing. Meanwhile, Miss the harsh whatever, she's like, there's been a triple homicide. She shows them the bodies in the janitor's closet, and she's like, we'll call the cops after the roller queen is crowned. We can't take this away from these kids. I'm like, you don't even know what happened. There's a potential murderer still in this fucking roller disco, and you're gonna wait and walk through this fucking crime scene?
Yeah, there's a lot
disco
of dumb
is not
decisions.
that important.
Yeah, there's a lot of dumb decisions made by people in this movie. That's
in a row.
Probably the worst. Yeah.
Like that was the one I was like, go fuck yourself. Like,
for real. like, don't you know we gotta keep this movie going, man?
And
You can't call the
Trixie
cops.
tells Cherry, she's like, make sure to do it for the boys at the bottom of the bay. I'm like, don't you disrespect the Pearl Harbor victims like that. They don't give a shit about roller disco, okay? Don't act like that's gonna make up for everything that happened.
For real.
Ugh.
Really, the people who did care about the roller disco probably didn't die because they
Exactly,
were at Pearl
they're
Harbor
still
when
at
it
this
got
roller
attacked.
disco.
Yeah.
So Cherry's announced as queen, and Randy goes to like stop the blood from falling, and for some reason, Trixie stops him from stopping the blood from falling. For reasons, it makes no sense. But they dump the blood on Roller Bitch instead.
Yep.
And then the Gingerdead man cuts her head in half and axes the fucking roller douche in the face.
Yeah, the and with her head getting split in half, that just didn't look good at all.
Nope.
Like, it was just gross.
So like we got two deaths fucking fast as hell because they're like, oh shit, we only got like 10 minutes left. We need to speed this up.
Yeah. This is when it gets really going. Yeah, that happens.
And he has a gun out of nowhere.
Yeah. Where is he? Where, like, has he had the gun the whole time?
Where was it?
Just
where was the
like
gun? No one in this whole
and
fucking movie had a gun. Where'd it come from?
And if he can hold this gun, if he can keep this gun with him, why couldn't he keep the time travel remote with him?
Because he could only carry one, and he was gonna carry the gun. He needed it for later. And then he kills Coco and Yoko, and I was like,
moment.
no,
not any other moments. Yeah.
And then he shoots Trixie in the shoulder, and she does like the most dramatic, like, use your gift, and fucking falls on the ground. So she shuts the doors, because it's a Carrie reference.
Yeah.
And then he shoots the chick in the red hat, who I didn't get her name either, so I just said Red Hat Girl. Shoots her. She doesn't hardly have any fucking scenes in the movie. And then everyone on the dance floor is electrocuted.
Yeah.
When she tries to use
her powers.
Telekinesis. So she ends up just murdering the whole dance floor.
Yeah, killing everyone. But yeah, Trixie, Ralph, Ingrid.
And then all of a sudden, from somewhere in time, it's that girl in pickles. And they bring
one of the greatest scenes in this whole movie.
Because they brought some friends. They brought Hitler, Lizzie Borden, Charles Manson, Jeffrey Dahmer, Clarice Darling, and the Burger Cop. Still eating
the Burger Cop. Which, honestly, I never thought I would have heard the name Lizzie Borden ever again until it's brought up in this movie.
I never thought kids would time travel to bring Hitler back. I always thought it was to time travel to kill Hitler, not to bring him to kill a cookie.
No, we're just gonna get every evil.
And they have this random magical cookie jar. It's never explained. And they rip him apart and shove him in this tiny ass cookie jar. And all is saved. And all of the serial killers go back to their respective time periods. And Trixie goes back to stop Pearl Harbor and finish her USO show.
Everyone comes back to life. They get the winning lotto numbers to save the world.
Everything's retconned. Yeah. Disco is saved until a couple years later when it inevitably dies.
Yep.
Cherry has this dream that will probably end up going nowhere. And that's it. That's the movie. So Cole, give me your overall final thoughts and opinions before we close this bitch out.
Bad. Worse than the other movies.
I thought you were just gonna bad. We're done.
It's bad. It's a Gingerdead Man movie, man. It's hard to give anything good about it, really. Like, there's some funny stuff in there, but do you really want to slog through the other parts of the movie just to get to the couple of funny bits?
No.
Yeah, it's not it. I didn't like it. I'm glad I never have to watch it again.
I really wish they just made a roller disco spoof movie. Like, I would have preferred that over the Gingerdead Man stuff. Overall, this movie's pretty shit. Like, of the 5 movies we watched so far, it's not the worst. Gingerdead Man's still the worst. But it's close. It's close.
Yeah.
So with that ends our discussion of the Gingerdead Man 3. Stay tuned. Next time, we're going to talk about Evil Bong 3, Wrath of Bong.
Yeah. Ready for that.
as we continue the road to Gingerdead Man versus the Evil Bong. So until next time, stay safe. Most importantly, stay nerdy.